impact assessment of CTBC. Yeah. So once again, I invite Dr. Anoop V, our Deputy Director. He's actually taking care of the Department of Environmental Impact Assessment. I'll give you a brief about what is actually Dr. Anoop is doing on environmental impact assessment. First of all, Dr. Anoop is like a predominant researcher in zoology and dedicated conservationist, and brings over a decade of experience in ecological projects, especially like his journey through Seek Foundation volunteering, and include the whale shark research project with Wildlife Trust of India. And he had a tremendous experience with JNT-BGRI, Jawaharlal Nehru Tropical Botanical Garden, Salim Ali Center for Ornithology, and right now he's been dedicated his research on Periyar Tiger Conservation Foundation. I think Dr. Hanoub is one of the prominent biologists. Is actually uh, got a chance to take care tiger cub throughout this project. He has actually nursed a few of the tiger cubs, and it's very well aware about among through the conservationist, and is a good resource person. Uh, to deliver content and about regarding the environmental impact assessment. And coming to the environmental impact assessment, I think environmental impact assessment doesn't have a great age. It's more than like a 20 years. Since from 20 years, India has heard about environmental impact assessment regarding one, valley project. Um, Action Plan Committee has been evolved, and they're asked about what is actually EIA, how it works, and you may get all these details from Anoop. Anoop will tell the technical expertization regarding EIA. And coming to the CTBC, it's a conglomerate of researchers, and hardly they're all dedicated to work in conservation sector, wildlife biology, and even fishery sector, marine biology, and all the aspects of biodiversity. It's a 360-degree conservation platform. We have a good team of researchers in all uh, streams of wildlife biology, like herpetology, and you can go through the persons, and we are very dynamic, enthusiastic youngsters are working in the conservation. So we definitely stand on the shoulders of our giants. We are not the predominant guys. So we are standing on the shoulders of our giants, like our guides, our motivators, and like all other, supporters of the CTBCs have been tremendous years of experience in the conservation sector. In that, starting from various conservations research tools in India, and coming to CTBC's operations, it has one of the operation sector. EIA is one of the operation sector, and definitely conservation sector is another one. And herpetology, there will be avian biology, wildlife biology, and even biotechnology. That's what my concern. I'm working on plant microbe interactions in CTBC. Anyway, without taking much more time, now the time is 7:11 p.m. I think all of you have a great, I valued all of your time. Once again, I welcome you everyone to this wonderful sessions. It will be live streamed in YouTube and other platforms. This course has been recorded. You can refer it again. Anyway, thank you so much, all the participants and my esteemed resource person, Dr. Anoop, and the back end of this program. Like the many people are working on the back end, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once again, I welcome you. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Haris. So, Harif, I will start now. So, do you want to like tell something?
No. Yeah, you can start your
Yeah.
session.
Okay. So, yeah, warm good evening to all, and thank you to Dr. Haris Pirangar for the introduction, and thank you to my colleagues, Mr. Harif, Sedu, and Sandeep, and all. And like we are very happy that like we got like a very good response from the participants. More than 700 applications we have received for this webinar, so we are very happy. And like as Harris Peringer was telling, like we got applications from across India and also from many other countries. So we are extremely happy to join you people. Okay. So before starting the webinar, I will talk about like a very few words about the course. So environmental impact assessment or EIA is like a very important for academically and also like a career wise. So I can see here like most of the people are like very youngsters, like a graduation students or post graduation students or a PhD students or like in like a faculties in their early career. So, as you know, like the Ministry of Forest and Environment and Climate Change made EIA is mandatory, or environment impact assessment is mandatory for like many different sectors. So, if you see like as a career, if you are becoming like an EIA expert, so there are like so many research institutes, so many corporate companies, so many research firms are recruiting like experts for their firm. So like it's like a good career option also if you are like a if you like this field and if you are becoming like an EIA expert. And academically, if you see like for all the competitive exams, including civil service like IAS, IFS, and all, EIA is like a very important chapter for all the competitive exams. Okay, so in as I told, like as a career wise, or like as a like a academic like a point of view, environmental impact assessment is very important. Even globally, like so many research papers are getting published in EIA, like they're coming up with like solutions like to how to reduce or mitigate the impact of the industrial and infrastructure development happening across the world. Okay. Okay, now we will begin our webinar. So I'll just present one PPT. Please wait. So already like Harif and Harris already like gave an introduction about me. So I'm Dr. Anoop V. And today I'm going to talk about the introduction about an environmental impact assessment in India. So in this webinar, I will give you like an idea. I will start with like you will learn about the most common definition and objectives of environmental impact assessment and the history of EIA or history of environmental impact assessment in India with like a few like a few examples to illustrate what is environmental impact assessment in India. So if you check for the definition for in environmental impact assessment or EIA, you can see like many definitions and like in different websites and in Google. So environmental impact assessment we can just call like it's like to see what will be the expected impact of any industrial or infrastructure development in like on environment or like the socio-economical impacts or how it will affect the well-being of uh, human being. Okay, so while starting, we will start with three major questions. One is like, what is an EIA? And next is, why conduct an EIA? And what is the outcome of EIA? Like, what is an environmental impact assessment and why we are conducting environmental impact assessment? And what will be the outcome of an environmental impact assessment? So, if you see the first question, maybe we can tell it as like a EIA is like kind of environmental operating license. So, and as I told in first slide, it aims to minimize environmental and social impacts by the project or to enhance the sustainability developments. As you know, like the industrial and infrastructure developments are like very important for human well-being. We cannot avoid like we don't want any like developments. We don't want any industries or we don't want any infrastructure. We cannot tell that. What the environmental protection is also like a very important for the human well-being. So what we want like like a sustainable way of development with a minimum negative impact by our activities. Okay, and in many categories, EAs are being carried out, like agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, mining, forestry, and like I will coming slides, I will I will explain who is actually looking after these all activities and what are the procedures, what are the regulations, what are the laws, what is the history of EIA in India, everything. So this environmental impact assessment is important for a decision making for the government, for the policymakers or managers. Okay. So next is why conduct an EIA. Okay. So as I told, like in the first slides, this for the sustainable development, because we want the development, industrial and infrastructure. But we want to the environmental health also. So we want to balance it. So we want a sustainable way of development for the better life for the human well-being. Okay, and we want to predict what will be the environmental and social impacts by the proposed projects. So then only we can decide whether that project is required or like some alteration is required for that project planning. So that's because to foresee the impact or to see the to predict the impact, environmental impacts and social impacts, and then we can actually reduce the negative impact of any project. Okay, so this EIA is that much important. Environmental impact assessment is very much important, so that we required a very high quality EIS, because whatever we are predicting, whatever we are suggesting, whatever an EIA expert coming this report or her report should be a high quality. Then only we will get that the maximum impact or maximum result. So now we learned what is, I mean, we just discussed what is an EIA in a one sentence if you can tell, or why we are conducting an EIA. And next is what is the outcome of an EIA. So this environment impact assessment is a tool, especially for managers, policymakers, government, for a harmony between developmental activities with environmental concerns. That is a very, I mean, tricky thing, a very complicated thing, balancing both the developmental activities and the environmental concerns. So for that, we want the EIA experts to suggest, to make the proposal how we can mitigate the negative impact of projects or the development on our environment health. Okay, of course, to see the or foresee the potential environmental problems. Okay, so these are the, I just want to give an a small introduction about this. So actually if you have any doubt or if you want to clarify after the session, you can actually ask, or you can even comment also in our chat box. So I will be explaining after the my presentation. I mean, I will try to answer the questions and whoever is watching in our YouTube live, they can also put the questions and their comment in our YouTube chat box. So we will answer the questions, we will try to answer live also, and otherwise we will answer the questions in a WhatsApp group and then as a comment in YouTube also. Okay. So then now we will talk about the history of EIA in India. When we started, what was the story? And it's a story. You know, in 19th century itself, the industrial revolution, everything happened in all over the world. That time people were not much bothered about the environmental protection or human well-being. They were just focusing on the development. They just want, it was just development without plan. So globally, after 1950s only people started, I mean, a good percentage of people or more countries were coming up with some idea to protect the wildlife and the environment and the human well-being. And so in after the Stockholm, the United Nations meeting in 1972 only, many countries came up with different laws and different project like to reduce the impact of anthropogenic activities. So in India, during the time of our former Honorable Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, she started like many amendments and many movements, or many she introduced many laws to protect the environmental forest. I mean, environment and the health, to keep the forest in health. So the story of EIA starts in 1976. That time, the Planning Commission actually asked the Department of Science and Technology to do an environmental impact assessment in connection with the River Valley project. That time, we didn't have a Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. That was formed after 1980. Okay, so maybe that was the first, like a comprehensive first project, like on like as a environmental impact assessment in India. So maybe after the after the tragedy in Bhopal in 1984, maybe in wake of that, maybe in considering that also, Environmental Protection Act was formed in 1986. So now Environmental Protection Act in 1986 is the basic or the like reference for the EIA. After that, like so many amendments came, so many changes in that act, and the policy also was changed. Like based on the Environmental Protection Act in 1986, the notification for EIA came in 1994. And the best thing in 1986 Environmental Protection Act, it made environmental impact assessment as a statutory thing. Okay, so after that, 94, that notification was issued. Then again, 97, 2000, and 2006, so many amendments came into that. And even in 2020, a recent draft notification of EIA policies also like published. Okay, so this is the history of EIA in India. So the Ministry of Forest and Environment and Climate Change is the authority of EIA, and now they have categorized the project into like category A and category B. So the category A will have like a very like important projects like nuclear or big hydroelectric projects, and the category B will have like the projects with less impacts. So the category B can be assessed by the state environmental EIA assessment. I mean EIA assessment agency also under the guidance of MOEF. Okay, so now basically speaking, like the Ministry of Forest and Environment and Climate Change is the authority in India to manage the EIAs in India. So this is the history. It started in 1970s, and now we are in like 94. We got a like a notification, and after that, so many amendments came on that. So the recent amendment was in 2020, and it was a draft EIA notification. So that is the history of EIA. So if you see the major legal framework, it is all based on the Environmental Protection Act 1986, along with other all the like acts like in 1970s, 1972 Wildlife Protection Act, and in 70s we got like a Water Act and the Air Act and the Biological Conservation Act, and this like the compilation of these all the laws, whatever laws we have in our land, the EIA is being implemented. Okay, then like again, the notification came in 94, then again changes in 2006. And the very important thing, the public hearing guidelines in EIA. So these are the few, like a major, like a framework I'm talking about. So the public is having the right to interfere or right to tell their views and their concerns, like whenever there is a project or a development coming in their land. So whoever the stakeholders, like including the local communities, NGOs, and other individuals or other industry people, whoever like a stakeholder of that proposed project, they all have the access to the executive summary of EIA, and they can tell their concerns and views. So after that, only that the project will get finalized. So this is a history of EIA. And now we just talk about what is an EIA, why we are conducting an EIA, what is outcome of EIA, and the history of EIA in India. Okay. So now, how an EIA expert will conduct like environmental impact assessment? Like if you are an EIA expert and like some projects are coming to you and like you want to do like conduct an EIA, so there are many steps. Many different steps to conduct an EIA. So these all are based on the guidelines and regulations of Government of India, especially the Ministry of Forest, Environment and Climate Change. So there are the major steps are screening, scoping, baseline data collection, impact prediction, and assessment of alternative or mitigation measures, public sharing, environment management plan, decision making, monitoring the clearance condition. So I will go like one by one. Screening, you know the word screening. If you get like for example applications of many candidates for some job, you have to screen them, you have to select. Same way, first the expert or the consultancy person like have to check whether the project requires an EIA. That is the first question. Then only that other all the steps are important. So based on the scale of development, type of development, location, the regulations and rules by the ministry, that decision will come first, whether the particular project requires an EIA. Okay, now just consider like one project requires an EIA. Then the next step is scoping. Scoping is like a kind of designing the work, like what exactly you are gonna do in that, like to prepare the environmental impact assessment and or EMP for that particular project. What are the variables you are gonna collect? So for example, this particular project is happening or kind of an infrastructure development is happening in an area where like a lot of indigenous communities are like already settled, or and there is a freshwater ecosystem. So then we have to give the more importance to the fauna and flora of freshwater ecosystem, socioeconomic status of the local communities. Like that, I'm just telling an example. So based on the local condition and based on the project character, like what are the basis of the project, the consultancy person, whoever the expert, have to define first how he or she or the firm is going to do the environmental impact assessment, and that all decisions should be done based on the guidelines. MOEF and Environment and Climate Change made like very specific guidelines for different sectors. Like what have to be done for a nuclear work, what have to be done for a renewable energy firm, for a road network, for a mining, or like a big infrastructure, or like a cement factory. For all kind of development, either infrastructure or like a industry, there are specific regulations published by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So based on the guidelines, the firm or the person have to decide how he or she or the firm is going to do the EMP. Okay. And this public consultation is actually the seventh or eighth step of EIA. But I just put here because it's very important. In EIA, the EIA in India engaging all stakeholders like local communities, NGOs, and whoever likely to get affected by the project, and their views and concerns regarding the a project. So that all aspects will be added before making the EIA report and our EMP report, and before making the decisions. Okay. So after screening and scoping, then the baseline data collection. So now we, or I mean, just think like we are now like taking a project for EIA. So first we just checked whether this project required an EIA based on the regulations and guidelines of the ministry. Okay, we decided like yes, it is required. The next is scoping. So now we have a design, what data we are going to collect, how we are going to collect, and why we are taking this many variables, why we are not taking some variables. Okay, and based on the second step, we have to collect the data. So you know the primary and secondary data. So we have to collect some data, and as a secondary data, we have to get whatever data available. Uh, like for example, the data related to the fauna and flora, or socio-economical data of that particular area, or all other environmental data like the air quality, the historical data on the weather, whatever data is available, secondary we have to collect, and whatever more required we have to collect as the primary data. Okay, and in our EIA or environmental impact assessment, in our report and in the EMB report, the environmental consequences we have to predict, or we have to see like what is the current situation, how healthy the air is, how healthy the water is, how healthy the land is, and what will be the impact if the project like starts here, and whether there is a breeding and nesting site of any fauna. So, and like in socio-economical point of view, like if people are getting displaced from this area, whether what will happen to their like normal life. So, and otherwise also like if this project comes here, what will happen to them? Like normal jobs, their financial security and everything. So that kind of all concerns, both environmental, ecological, socio-economical, all concerns should be addressed in this report. And the person, the expert should come with like some alternative or some mitigation measures, how we can alter this project if required. Like if some alteration or some changes in the project proposals uh, can help to reduce the impact. So that kind of like, for example, if you're speaking like, I have worked as an EIA expert in Canada to see whether the wind turbine operations affect the fauna and flora of that area and like the local communities over there. And we studied and we actually like gave a kind of suggestion. Few areas if you are avoiding, few areas if you are not installing wind turbine, that will reduce the impact on this particular farm. So that was our suggestion. We were suggesting them something like whatever the already proposed, you give some alteration, you change little bit. Then what will be the effect? You can reduce the impact. So the main objective of the EIA is that how we can reduce the impact. Okay. What can be done to reduce the impact, environmentally or socioeconomic, whatever, in all aspects. Okay. And again, public hearing. Already I spoke about it. So after this report, the executive committee, executive summary of our EIA, the project proposal, all the details should go to the public. So we should address their views, their concerns, their questions we have to answer. The kind of like indigenous people, local communities, local residents, associations, environmental groups, any person located at the project sites or connected to these project sites are eligible to like access the details. So that is a public hearing. Okay. And next, the important step in EIA is environmental management plan preparation. So environment management plan is like writing a solution, like the how we can mitigate the impact. What are the suggestions we are giving? And it's like a kind of mitigation measures. So based on the EIA, including the environment management plan, the mitigation measures and solutions, alteration, changes we are suggesting, the project will get implemented with less impact. Okay. So these are the steps we have to do before the project initiation. So after that, actually, you have to do like a monitoring. So it's like called monitoring the clearance condition. It's not like we are just checking like whether they are complying like whatever we have suggested. We have to check whatever we predicted or whatever we actually told them is correct or not. Because we don't, it's like just prediction based on the data and the analysis. So based on our knowledge in science, we are just predicting this can be done, that can be done, so the impact will be less. Can be wrong sometime. We have to make sure of it. If there is, I mean, some impacts are exceeding the predicted level, we should take some corrective action. So for that, we have to monitor in the operation initiation, and we have to make sure whatever we have a predictor is correct. And monitoring will again give the validity to the predictions. And this EMP or environmental management plan we can implement that will reduce the impact. So yeah, so these are the major steps. So along with these, like like we want human well-being. That means we want socio-economical data. Then from the environmental point of view, we want the details of fauna and flora of the particular area. Along with that, we want many other data, like so environmental impact assessment. It's not like just we will just check the forest is healthy or the fauna and flora is healthy. No, it's like we have to check first, like whether the air environment is good. What is the current situation, whether the air is polluted, or if the project, if we are implementing this project, whether the air health will go again down. Maybe I mean, many people are there from Delhi also. We know what is happening in Delhi. Okay, so it's all happening because of the anthropogenic activities. So we have to make sure like human beings should be, I mean, we all can breathe well. Okay, so the impact in the 7 to 10 kilometer periphery, we have to make sure like with the equipments and whatever scientific support we have to make sure the air environment is better and we are not making it worse. Okay, so we can collect so many data from even secondary data, meteorological data, soil humidity, wind speed, whatever that environmental data is available in that area, and we can check whether the place site is already polluted. Like if in that case, the new project is kind of adding more impact. So we should be like, first we have to assess the current situation, then only we can actually give a solution. If it is already in high level, then yeah, it's like we have to see some alternative option for the implementation of that project. Yeah, so we have to quantify, we have to identify the environmental health. Yeah. So along with that, we have to check the noise levels. Like that also, like the current noise levels for while they need the infrastructure. I mean, whenever the initiation of the project or the operation of the project, what will happen to the noise levels and what will be the impact zone. So whether people will get affected, whether the fauna of the particular area will get affected for the noise levels. So if some construction and all, like there will be like a lot of vehicle noise, lot of the noise related to the construction. So that all things should be accounted for before the EIA. I mean, during the EIA. And now the air, the noise, the next important thing is what? So, human well-being is directly connected to the water quality. So any development or any anthropogenic activities are affecting the water quality, then it's like totally the human well-being is going down. So we have to address that, whether what activities are actually going to happen in this project, whether this will make the water quality again worse, and how they're going to manage wastewater, if any, in their project site. So that all things should be addressed. Okay, now air quality and the noise level, water quality, and how they're going to treat the wastewater or the area, that all should be uh, addressed. And along with that, we have to survey the flora and fauna, in each season, and we have to compare the fauna in the particular area, and we have to create control site. We have to see whether the IUCN categorized flora and fauna are if there are like so many endangered species, so many endemic species, then like it's gonna affect them very negatively. So that kind of all aspects, I mean, most of them are like life science students, if we alter some area with a high diversity and endemism and endangered fauna and flora, how it will affect. So we have to have a proper survey on flora and fauna of the particular area, and including the aquatic fauna and flora. Sometimes some site will be like a land along with a marine or a freshwater ecosystem. So first we have to identify what are the flora and fauna representing that area, what categories, and like what are the what and all the data we have to collect on top. And along with that, we have to see the land environment, land use, landscape, topography, drainage, and hydrology. It's like basically all the aspects connected to human well-being and the environment should be addressed. Okay, so in our upcoming webinar, we will be detailing it in like a more. We will explain in more in detail. And now I want to give an introduction, like what is EIA, why we are doing EIA, what are the steps, and who is managing it. And why EIA is important and all. Yeah, and primarily and like very importantly, the socio-economic and health environment. So if it is affecting very negatively to the indigenous community or local communities, we have to do something. We cannot just start the project such a way affecting it directly very negatively to the local communities. And if it is affecting the human health or the environment health of that area, it all shall be addressed and should start with some solutions. For example, some hydroelectric projects in some area submerge in their town and their village and their agricultural lands and everything. Then, while moving them from their own land, they should be provided with proper compensation. So they should be settled by giving them like a proper job, proper financial support, proper accommodation, proper health situation, proper schools, everything, whatever the basic requirement of a human being. That all things should be provided. Yeah, so that all are the mitigation measures or solutions, because there will be negative impact. Like while during the development, we cannot start anything with a zero impact. So there will be like impact. Only thing is like we have to plan it better. We have to make it like a sustainable. We have to support the environment and the local communities, all the stakeholders, and we have to make their life better. We have to make a kind of harmony between development and the concerns. So now, if you see the current state of EIA in India, it covers wide range of sectors, including industrial infrastructure, mining, energy projects, and farming. And there are good regulatory framework, guidelines, procedures, like for each category, what have to be done, like whether the EIA is required or not, and what are the variables we have to collect. So all details are there in the regulations or guidelines of MOEF and the other government agencies. But still, it's a kind of debate. The challenges are there, like whether these all things are implementing effectively, and whether the EIA, whatever we are suggesting, are monitoring well. So yeah, it's like a concerns are there about its efficacy. Yeah, but still we have a good, regulatory framework. If you compare to other countries, we have better framework and better regulations, guidelines to check the or to do the EIA. Yeah. And these are the recent changes. So in this, like some norms are relaxed to relaxed. It's like a kind of debates. Like some norms are relaxed, and like and that the policy makers and government, their opinion is like it's giving more transparency, more giving like a more public participation, and it's easy to it's making like a kind of procedures better. Before it was like a lagging and everything. That kind of debate is happening. But whereas there are so many criticism on the new EIA draft. Okay, like they argue like the big enforcement, so many things are like standards are not up to date, up to the rate and on. And the role of local communities got reduced, and the clarity is lacking. There will be like a criticism in all things, but the EIA, whatever we have, is still based on our so many acts: 1972 Protection Acts, 1986 Act, and the 94 notification, and along with that amendments in 2000, 2006, and the 2020, and the recent draft. But basically, what will be the outcome? What we get to EIA, already I discussed in the previous slides. It's like ecosystem preservation. So effective EIA will preserve our ecosystem for human well-being, and we will have a good quality air, water, and everything. We can actually we can conserve our resource. And it is like a kind of, we can do developmental activities in a harmony in the development with the environmental concerns. So that is the basic objective of EIA. Okay. And yeah, maybe the future of EIA in India, maybe we can use technological advancements. Whatever technologies, like I have seen so many remote sensing people as applicants. Like we can use whatever tools we have, good statisticians, softwares, statistical softwares, remote sensing softwares, whatever modern science supporting, whatever support we can get, or we can use for the future EIA in India. And the policies, maybe we can reform, we can change it, we can add it, we can make it more better. Every time, we can add more better amendments in this. And we can, kind of global collaboration. We can take whatever other, if some other countries are doing like better, like some options better, also like we can actually adopt that. So this is a feature of a EIA in India. So many other things we can add. Yeah, this is the. I mean, I don't want to take more time. And this just I want to give an introduction about the EIA, and we are gonna start continuous webinars, workshops, everything on EIA with multiple faculties. So that will be starting soon. So now with the next slide, I will just show our primary plans for next steps. So these are the upcoming workshops we are planning. There will be like online and on-site uh, classes or workshops on environmental impact assessment. So, and we will be providing the course certificate, and it will be like a 2 to 3 days workshop. So that will cover all the aspects of environmental impact assessment. Yeah, it will be or like it will be like a indoor and outdoor, including the field work, data collection, how to prepare an EIA draft, how to prepare an environmental management plan, how to collect the data, how to do the statistical analysis, how you can use the tools like remote sensing, GIS, and other tools, other softwares, or even the computer coding. All that kind of aspects will be covered in our upcoming workshops. And the study materials also will be provided for the party, and I mean both online and on-site this thing. So the details we will be providing in our WhatsApp group. Actually, the WhatsApp group we would like to keep that as permanent, because our the discussions and our future training workshops, all details, all the study materials we will share in that group. So please be in that group, in our WhatsApp group. Okay, so these are the tentative days we are planning for next upcoming workshops. So we hope we are expecting your full support for in our future upcoming workshops. Yeah. So now we can actually start a discussion. Harif, hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. So now actually we can. It is open for discussion. You can actually comment also, and if anybody is having want any clarification, we can clarify also. I think Harif shared the attendance as a Google form in the message box, so you can give your attendance to in that. Yeah, some questions are coming. To become an EIA expert, what is the basic qualification? Yeah, for to become an EIA expert, if you are a if you have a post graduation, it's better. See, in an EIA team, there will be multiple faculties. There will be like a chief, there will be supporting team, there will be assistants. So if you have a PhD, then like you'll be in like good position. So if you have a post graduation in life science or forestry or I mean, kind of environmental science. Uh, yeah, and in environmental impact assessment team, they require people from economics, people from remote sensing. Yeah, and basically, if you are interested in EIA and you have a basic qualification like a post graduation in that particular subject, like environmental science or like remote sensing or economics, yeah, you can be in that team. So EIA is more like a teamwork. So it will be like a more experts together. They will work and they will prepare the. They will do the assessment. How do you weigh the different impacts? How do you weigh human displacement and displacement? Come to a value. Yeah, that's what I think. Priyadarshini's question. So in a team, there will be like a wildlife expert, there will be a sociologist, there will be economist, there will be uh, a technical person, and what the first thing is like a data collection. Data means primary and secondary data. So if you see the air quality in most of the cities and most of the places, there will be machines installed. For the environmental data, there are data available for many years, and for other weather data, there are the machines are placed already in different places. So all the data are available online and from different sources. So whatever data is not available, we can take as a primary data also. For example, the flora and fauna of that area. We can do survey and we can collect that. Okay, and if any data is, if some water quality data is missing, we can do like a water testing. So we can take then the team will have the whoever the expert in that thing will do that. So yeah, primary and secondary data we can collect and we can take all the data. Yeah, in India it is MOEF, Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change. They have prepared the guidelines, so they are looking after. And I mean, recently we have state level uh, environmental impact assessment agencies also, like can give permissions, so that they are also working under the authority of MOEF. But basically, Forest Ministry, Central Forest Ministry is the authority. Yeah, linear project. Yeah, there are in the new draft there are changes, and even so many debates are happening. Like some projects got, I mean, some categories got exempted from, uh, and yeah, recent amendments, like so many debates are happening. So that decision actually made by the expert committee. How reliable are environmental assessments? Yeah. No, it's like positively thinking. Before 1970s, there were no EIAs, no environmental impact assessment. It was directly implemented. At least now we have like some assessment, some data. So at least we have that option. Yeah, everything it's like a we cannot tell like everything is 100% proper, but yeah, there are proper guidelines. So if they follow the guidelines properly, that environmental impact assessment report or the whatever the result also will be reliable. Okay, no, I didn't read that properly. Okay, the question for predicting future environmental impacts. Now, see, in science, we have so many tools and so many methodologies to predict what will happen in the future. And it will be like you know, I mean, you already know the statistics, the percentage. If 90% or 95%, if we can tell it is correct, That is the best thing we can opt. Yeah, some people are asking about the question. I mean, so many questions in YouTube also, and yeah, I will try to answer in time. I'm done in MSc Wildlife and Manager, so I'm interested in EIA. So, what are the opportunities? Yeah, you have a lot of opportunities because different research institute like Wildlife Institute of India, SACON, Animal Center for Ornithology and Natural History, BNHS, Botanical Survey of India, ZSI, BSI, KFRI, and so many other organizations, universities, and firms are recruiting people to do EIA. So, if you get some experience, like as a supporting team in some EIA project, so after that, actually, you can become an EIA expert. So you can join first in some project or some companies. So yeah, otherwise, if you are uh, interested to do like a PhD in connection with the, because my PhD was like I studied the impact of wind turbines operations or wind farm operations on selected fauna components like birds and bats. So my PhD topic was that how the industrial development affect the wildlife. So if you are interested, even you can do a PhD, then you will get a better position. You can lead a EIA department. You can join an EIA firm, private firm. Yeah, the same answer for the wildlife. MSc Botany, MSc Zoology, Environmental Science, Forestry, remote sensing and GIS, Geography, all all that subject people are having opportunities in EIA. More questions or any suggestions about our program, what changes we have to do and all?
There are some people from YouTube. They
Okay.
have asked a couple of questions,
Okay.
and I will read up for them.
Yeah.
Some of the question I will read out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dinesh has asked that course details. I did not get the full view. Could you share them again? So that I think we can share it to the group and also to the
Yeah,
like I
we,
think
we will share. We can share the details in our website, WhatsApp. I think that will be better.
yeah, some of them have raised like which project required minimum baseline data collection and which project required all seasonal baseline data. Why?
Okay. Which project require minimum data and yeah. See these basically if you visit the Ministry of Forest like a MOEF website, you can see the guidelines. So in that it is specifically written different categories what have to be done. So it's like for all the projects, like it's written like what are the data we have to collect. So we have to collect in all seasons. Like for example, like it's not like we will collect for some particular project 1 year, I mean 1 season data, and for other one it's like and we have to follow that mandate. What are mandatory rules or regulation given in that? It's like a depends project to project. I mean the sector to sector. The data we are collecting for a nuclear project and the data we are collecting for a hydroelectric project both will be different, and the duration also will be different. Yeah. Or if somebody asks like they want a webinar on Eastern Ghats. Some of them are not able to join our WhatsApp group. I think they can actually send us a mail. We will send you another link and you can join with that link. Jitesh and Zahra already put message like they are not able to join.
They can actually call us directly, and we can provide the link, and any other arrangement we can do that. Yeah.
Yes.
And for YouTube viewers, I have a word that we will be uploading this Google Meet to the YouTube channel, and you can actually view the this recorded video maybe tomorrow. And as they have faced a lot of issue during the class because the latency issue, and also the operator laptop was having some issue with mic, so they were facing some issue. So for them, we will be uploading the recorded video of Google Meet, and they can watch it tomorrow.
And if more questions or clarification required, otherwise we can.
One more question from G. Dibali Pandi. What is the steps to submit the EIA plan from state to central ministry?
What is
the steps to submit the EIA plan from state to central ministry? I don't know what she actually means.
Yeah, I mean it's like for us like there are regular communication with the state and central. So there will be like a timeline for the state, and yeah, state will forward it. And I'm not very sure about the timeline. So if there are something like the particular timeline, I will update you. If there are no more questions, then we can actually wind up.
Yeah, we can go that. We can do that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, we will be sharing you the details in the group, and also by mail we will be sharing the course details. And if you have any further query or questions, you can just drop the question to the WhatsApp. Still, like we will be maintaining this WhatsApp group, and we'll be updating you regarding this webinars, upcoming webinars and courses and all. So it will be like it will be our the WhatsApp forum for alerting you regarding our webinar, upcoming courses and all. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.